So hey guys, welcome to Appalachia's Homestead. Welcome back to the channel. Give me a hug. I need a hug. You're going to need a hug. We're going to need to hug and pray and sing some hymnals about this video. This has nothing to do with homesteading. This has nothing to do with farming, preparedness, genealogy, East Tennessee fun, name a topic. No, this is something that I have had on my heart and my mind for a couple of days into a couple of weeks now in different ways, and I want to talk about it because today just blew my mind, and boy, I'm struggling with it. And so I want to take it to video because I figure if I'm struggling with this topic, I know a lot of you out there are too, and maybe I'm just getting old and fuddy-duddy. Maybe I live too sheltered. I don't know. But I'm going to talk about this. Do I think it's going to make a change? If it changes one situation, I'll be happy. And I'll never know if it does. I'm just going to speak what I know. What in the world? I've got a question. So here's the deal. Before I say this, like I said, this is a video that has nothing to do with the normal stuff, the mix of stuff, not even politics. But if you've got somebody under the age of 16 or at least 16 or so, younger, shoo them out of the room. You listen to this and you judge if they should hear this, or if you want to listen, hate my guts or not, and then talk to your own kid. Talk to your niece or nephew. And this is not a new subject. We all at different points in time had, issues in terms of what we wore and what our grandparents thought. Has that gone away? Did you hear me? So for you, this isn't going to be a new topic, but the level that I'm going to here could be, and then it makes me question whether or not people even care enough to talk to their kids or grandkids or whoever. Okay. We are having a total social breakdown here. I don't know about everywhere else on the planet, but I can tell you right now that when I go to Knoxville, when I go beyond, out into what, it's still, we used to consider it small town, but it's not. And some of the things I'm seeing are on social media by people that I never thought would ever do some of the things that they're doing, but we're going to talk about it. I don't know what has happened since we have recovered from COVID. It just appears to me that a lot of people now have lost their minds, have lost every bit of self-respect or dignity they've ever had within themselves or their family, and they just don't care. They don't care. So I'm going to talk about this with several examples because it's really, when you notice something and then it's like you see it everywhere all of a sudden. It's like you see it, or you see it at a level that you've never seen it before. I know, I'm just a fuddy-duddy out here on the farm with a bunch of goats. Okay, you call me what you want, but when I go to a chicken restaurant after church, and I'm sitting there, and everybody's kids coughing on you, and everybody has to lean on your table while they go to wait in line to get their chicken, okay, and people look like they've rolled out of bed. Now, listen, somebody's going to say, oh, she's so pretentious. No. A hairbrush, a toothbrush, and soap for most of the population is pretty doggone cheap. Okay? I'm not talking about walking around with your Louis Vuitton or your Gucci, getting out of your brand new Escalade or Yukon, coming in, no, and no. Okay? Period. But I want to know what happens. Now, what happened to the days of, I'm going to put on a clean shirt today because I've got one, and I don't want to go out and not have on clean clothes. I'm not talking about getting out here and milking a cow. I'm not talking out here moving cattle panels like when I get out here in a few minutes and I move these cattle panels with James, no, I'm not going to have on my Sunday dress, okay? I get it. And, you get it. Let's just not even go here because that's so silly. We're adults here. This is adult. So I'm sitting there at the table and I look over and there's a side door where you can come into this little restaurant. There's a back door, the front main door, and a side door. There's these two girls coming in. They look, if they weren't over the age of 13 years old, I bet everything I've got, 13 max. And of course they've got their gel nails. If you want your 13-year-old to have gel nails, that's up to you. But I'm going to tell you what, if they look like these kids' gel nails, I don't know if they're doing them themselves, but my Lee press-ons in 1981 looked a whole lot better than that. So I hope you ain't wasting your money on your kids and your grandkids' gel nails for them girls, because it looked ridiculous. But whatever. And they're doing, they're trying to tap on their phones. You can see they're coming in, and these girls didn't have, I'm gonna tell you right now, there's no way my parents would have ever let me go out of the house like that. Ever. If my Nana, she'd have been there, she'd have said, get in there and get a shower. Get in there and get in the bathtub right now. No, you're not. Soap is cheap. But here's what I am going to say. One particular girl was wearing a sweatshirt. And she practically, I'm not joking when I tell you this, she didn't have anything else on underneath that sweatshirt. Both top and bottom. She had on a pair of shorts. I only saw about this much of the side of the short underneath her shrunken, dirty sweatshirt. Okay. And when she lifted her leg up to come into the restaurant, I'm going to tell you what. You wonder why we have a predator problem in this country. When your little girls, and your boys too, boys aren't exempt from this topic, one way or another. We understand that here in the United States that we have a massive problem with predators, sex trafficking, and beyond. That's not a new topic, not a new discussion. So you would think that a mother or a father or a memo or somebody in this day and age that's had an iPhone or whatever, at least for the last 3 to 5 years, and most people have, understand what our young people, young children, this is a child, 13, I don't care what you say, that's a child, still a child, minor, whatever. When I can sit there and I'm literally trying to not choke on a French fry and a chicken tender because I just saw everything that girl had going on, and I mean it when I say it. We've got a problem. We have a problem. Now, this crowd is different than most of society. I know how you are. And I just want to say to you, you need to be talking to your young people. I don't care if they're 9, 7, 15, 20, or 30. Again, this goes back to my prior video about people are watching you. In this context, I'm telling you what, these young people need people in their life that they know, that they can hopefully have some shred of respect for. Those adults need to be willing to put these kids in their place, because I don't know where their minds are. They're nowhere. So I sat there and I wrestled with this. It bothered me so bad. It's still bothering me now. I almost wanted to, I was like, I wanted to look at this girl and say, girl, you need to go home and you need to put on some clothes. Like layers of clothes. You understand what I'm saying? Okay? Because if I can sit here and I'm not even attempting to see you, and I can see everything you got going on everywhere, I know half these men in here can too. Is that what you want? I don't think it is. And if you think it is, I'm going to tell you as an old woman, it's not. So I stood there, I didn't stand there. They ended up coming across by my table. And I saw the girl texting and looking outside. Her mama was outside in a, I couldn't tell if it was an SUV or a minivan. And she was driving and she was yelling at somebody in the parking lot. And a man was in the passenger seat. So they had sent these teenage girls into the restaurant. And she had her mama's, I guess it was her mama, like a debit card. She was going to order and take it out because it was very busy. Maybe they were traveling. I don't care. I don't care if they were just passing through Knoxville and they got off the interstate, got some chicken and drove. They were going to Myrtle Beach. I don't care. You all need to be checking your kids, your teenagers, your young people, and have the guts to say, you're not wearing that, right? What is going on here? Because all I could think about was how this girl, who has no dignity, no self-awareness, no respect for her own. You were 13. Did you walk around showing everything you got at 13? I knew better. So I don't know where her mama's mind is. Probably, who knows, this day and age. And I'm saying that because that's the way I feel. My daughter would have never come out of the bedroom looking like that, much less come down my stairs like that, get in my car, and let's all go and eat chicken today. Ain't happening. The level of self-respect and dignity amongst our people here in the United States, it has to be at a historic low. And it's all across the board. So stop your kids. Check your kids, correct your kids, not because you want control, not because you don't want to be embarrassed. It's because, if nothing else, you're going to be the only one that does it. And you are setting the tone for what these children, this is a kid. This isn't like a 21-year-old girl coming off the University of Tennessee trying to get attention, headed down on spring break. That is not what I'm talking about here. At all. You are allowing these kids to basically, in my personal opinion, we as a society, this did not happen. If it did, it was a 1 in a million 30, 40 years ago, when I was sort of in that age group. You didn't see it. You didn't see it around here. Not that it didn't happen and I just missed it. Maybe there was. I get it. Things happened. I'm not saying they didn't, but I'm just saying, if I went to the mall, I'm constantly going, is this really how we dress now? Where's your clothes? And, people said that 30 years ago about something maybe we wore. Honey, that is modest compared to what I saw today. She might as well just been, I'm going to say it, plumb naked. I'm not joking. I'm just not joking. But beyond that, I know you can't believe we're having this conversation, but I am so emotionally disturbed by what is going on. And we wonder why we have a problem with all the issues with the trafficking and the pornography and the exploitation and everything. It's a little kid. Okay? It's a little kid. If she was 17 or 18, I don't like it. No, but I'm saying, who is correcting this? Why is no one correcting this? Who's correcting this? But then I turn on YouTube, and then I'm watching people channels that I don't watch anymore. And there's a reason for that. And they're talking about just trash. I mean, trash. The language, the slamming of the opposite sex continually, it's not even like they said a cuss word, okay? Because Lord knows that if I drop something on my toe in this barn, something might be said. But I'm just saying, the sexual content, what is wrong with some of these people? Are you really that desperate? Has YouTube cut your salary so hard you got to go OnlyFans on us here? And it's across the board. It's men and women both. So I'm not singling out this or this. It's like I noticed one, and now it's a bunch. Desperate? Are we? Had you always been gross like this? And we just didn't know it? I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, a lot of the things that I talk about here on this channel, some people will say to me, I thought this was a homesteading channel. It is. But I also talk about politics, world affairs, other things like that too, because in my personal and humble opinion, it all relates to me having the ability to have a homestead, okay? The globalism, the movement, all the things that we are experiencing in society actually affect your homestead. And these channels that try to tell you that it doesn't, they're liars with their pants on fire, okay? Because it does, okay? That's the bottom line there too. But I was watching 2 days ago, there's a certain individual that makes videos on Instagram. And for the most part, I think some of the things that this person does is funny, okay? Just silly and funny. I've sort of thought that maybe I need to unfollow, because there's been a few things that I thought, I don't know about that. Well, the latest thing that I saw, and I don't know if it's the latest video, it's just the latest one that I've seen a couple days ago, is putting in links to sell adult things. Please don't make me go beyond that. Please don't make me do it. And I'm like, how do we go from talking and being silly and doing a skit to basically being like a salesman at a store that sells sexy stuff, wink wink, at a store over down off Lovell Road where trying to solicit truckers? Nothing against truckers. I know a lot of you are good people. You know what I mean, though. What you may see at exits on the interstate. And I looked at James and I said, have I lost my mind? He said, I don't know. What are you talking about? He's like, what? What? You know, what? And I said, I'm going to play this and I'm going to go down here and I'm going to look at this because I think I've lost my mind. So, and he looked at me and he went, nope, that's what they're doing. And I went, now again, you're going to think I'm some prude, fuddy-duddy. I'm just saying, what people do as adults in their world, at home, with adults, whatever, is none of my business. I can have my thoughts and things as far as opinions about things all day long. But at the end of the day, you're an adult. You work, you pay your taxes, you mind your business, you leave children alone, you leave animals alone, you know, okay? But I'm sitting here going, how do we go from being funny, cute, haha, like my 10-year-old could watch some of your skits or something, to now we're this. I'm telling you right now, I don't care if you ever watch my channel again, because I think all of this needs to be said. The world is on a fast track of a desperate edge, and I hope and pray that you are understanding that it's not just time ticking faster. People have lost every shred. Most people, I'm going to say most, not all. A lot of people, may not even be most, but it's a good percentage. They've lost every sense of dignity and self-respect and everything else in between. If they are getting some attention today, and if they think they might make a buck off of Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and beyond, they're going to do it. I'm not talking about getting out here and doing a silly dance video, still got your clothes on. I'm not talking about somebody doing a funny skit. I'm talking about they've taken it to 10 levels up and beyond, and it is turning on like that. What in the name of everything holy is going on? You know what's going on. You better be aware of it. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. I would like for somebody to come and put some hot Tabasco on my eyeballs, what I saw today, because it's going to take me a week to get over it. Because it disturbed me. I wasn't just like, no. I'm seeing this child and things. I just, and she may not be today, but I'm like, what are you being set up for? The lack of direction, the lack of conversation. Put some clothes on. You think I'm going to... Awful. Awful. Plumb awful. Plumb awful. So pray for me, because like when we were coming home, James was like, can we go home? I I didn't tell him until we left, because he didn't, thank God. I was like, because I sat there and I was like, am I going to say something to this child? If I'd been her teacher, Sunday school teacher, if I knew her, oh, it'd have been on like Donkey Kong. But after I saw the mother yelling at somebody in the parking lot about a parking spot, I thought, I don't want to get, we're going to be slinging coleslaw and chicken tenders today. And, this is not a mother. I felt this in my soul. I hate to tell you, I don't mean to be judgy, but I felt in my heart today that mother didn't care. Because how do you not see that? How in the world does this, maybe it's not her mother. I mean, maybe it's the neighbor. How did that adult in that car driving it, who gave this child her debit card from the TVA credit union, it said TVA credit union on it, because the little girl was holding it between, looked like she had paper clips glued to her fingernails today, and was standing there like, a naked neck chicken, and, blows my mind. Tell me I'm crazy. Just tell me I'm crazy. Folks, here's what I'm saying. I'm shutting up, because half of you've already turned it off here. You don't have to be rich. You don't have to be nothing. Soap is cheap. Self-respect is free. And if you're not teaching that to your children and your grandbabies, I'm telling you right now, ain't nobody else is. And we wonder how we got in the state that we're in. Where was the ball dropped? I can come up with it real quick, but I'm going to let you figure it out, because I'm pretty sure most of you already know. Like, subscribe, and share. Pray, prep, and be peaceful. I'm going to go back to the house and sling on a t-shirt and jeans and come out here and work. And we're going to get gross. But you know what? We're working and we're covered. And please pray for humanity. Please pray for humanity, for minds to come back, and for the salvation of Jesus. Maybe that's where we went wrong. Maybe that's where a lot of people have gone wrong. Jesus. They have kicked out Jesus. Maybe that has something to do with it. Like, subscribe, and share. Pray, prep, and be peaceful. I hope you're still hanging around. I love you. I care for you. I just want what's best for you and your family. And I want your children to have self-respect and self-dignity. They deserve that. And the only place that they're going to learn it is from you. Mama, Daddy, Mama, Papa. And you know what? You don't have to be blood. You just have to be present. Because the world is going to swallow them whole. Look around. You don't need me to tell you. I love you. I love your family. Praying for you. I'll see you on the next video.